Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Walk with Me, the podcast. I'm your host, Marie-Eve Bédard, and today I have a very, very special guest, Laetitia Martos. She's with me to talk about her work, but also her incredible way of being, of living that she translates so well in her work, but also in supporting her clients and the delicious brains that she serves. And she's also on a mission right now, which is really huge, which we were going to talk about. But there's so many things here, and I have goosebumps. I'm just so excited. So welcome, Laetitia, to Walk with Me, the podcast.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you so much. This conversation will be perfect.
Perfect, perfect. So I actually I always have people on my podcast that I have connected with somehow. When you start a podcast, you always have like these people that kind of pitch to you. And I'm like, it's all nice and dandy, but I need to feel a connection. That's how I am as a person in life, professionally. And there needs to be a connection because this is human to human conversations. So we did connect, I think, through Sophie Shag's world when we got this incredible invitation to kind of like all support each other in following us on social media and commenting and like making our work have more visibility. And of course, like we all did that. And there's some people that really touch our heart. And you are one of the ones that really touched my heart. And we connected back then. That was 2 years ago. And we did exchange a few messages, right? You were just starting with Delicious Brains. If I remember correctly, you were not even like you were thinking about Delicious Brains and doing kind of like the marketing research around this. And I just thought it was amazing. And you were going to Canada like for a few months or a few weeks. So we did talk about that. And then for some reason, our world kind of like, and a few months ago, it came back together. And then I was like, this is the time I feel a calling. So I invited you to the podcast. And I'm just so excited because I want you to talk about what you do. You are the mother of dragons. You are one that is, giving power to the Sigmas. I want you to talk about what your work is. And while you talk about your work, I want to talk about how my work has evolved, like parallelly, and how I'm so excited to have this conversation with you because um, we're serving a very, very special, incredibly smart, genius entrepreneur or human being in my case, and one that the ones that are most likely or that feel left behind, but it's just because the genius has not been harnessed. And when I say harness, I don't want to be contained. I want to say that we actually have not yet learned how to leverage the genius, right?
Oh yes. And it's good when you say entrepreneurs, oh well, human beings. Because first and foremost, we serve human beings. And this is a very big mission. This is not about doing business. This is not about serving clients. This is being part of an entire humanity, and the humanity is so big. And also, we are facing a lot of challenges at the moment. So, this is so good to be part of serving humanity as a whole thing. I love your introduction. Thank you for that.
I love, love, love it. So, mother of dragons, what does that mean? What does the mother of dragon do?
I was traveling because we travel a lot. I'm a mom and we are homeschooling. And so we are doing a lot of travels because this is our school system. Travel is our school system because you learn so much by traveling with your children. And we were traveling to Greece. And just here on the street, and a sentence hits me. And the sentence was, "You're the mother of the savage daughters." And I'm French. And this sentence came in English.
Mm.
Why? I don't know. It was not someone telling this sentence. It was a sentence in my head, but outside my head in the same time. And it reminds me a beautiful song where I thought the lyrics were, "I am the mother of the savage daughter." So I came back to the hotel. I checked on my phone and I put Mother of Savage Daughters on the YouTube search. And this song is a real song, but the lyrics are not at all this sentence. Like, not at all. The lyrics were, "I am the savage daughter of my mother." So it
Mhm.
was on the riverside. And so I said, okay, I am supposed to be the mother of the savage daughter. That's a big mission. And what's the next step? And I talked to a friend of mine and I said, oh my goodness, I've received a sentence and I don't know what to do. I'm okay with that mission. I accept the mission for sure. But what's the next step? And I said this to my friend, and 2 days after, she sent me a vocal note and she said, "And what about your mother of the dragon thing?" And I was, "This is not the mother of the dragon. This is the mother of the savage daughters." But this hit me so hard. I I I kept this sentence of the mother of the dragon because the symbol is bigger than the mother of the savage daughters. But the intention is to lead people who are still children. And I think we are all still our little child inside and who had big ideas when they were young, or big ideas not because of the bigness, but because of the atypicity, the difference of the vision compared to our society, our world, our education, our family, etc. And I decided this day to lead all of these people wanting to have another vision of our humanity and to help them create this vision like in the daily life. But because having a big vision is okay and it's a dream, it's beautiful. But leading people to do it in real life, this is the missing piece, the gap, the missing piece between vision and reality.
Mhm.
So I've got a business, but this is not about business. This is because they pay me to help them, but I don't have a business focused mind. I've got a humanity and connection mind.
Empowerment mind, community connection. And it's interesting because you sent me your bio, and I just think it's amazing because I'm gonna give you like I'm gonna speak to how I my own path, my own journey with this. I have long thought that a lot of my behaviors were people pleasing behaviors, where I thought that, I was doing things to please people to get, because people pleasing behavior is actually kind of you want something in return.
Mm.
But what I have discovered, you know where I'm going with this. What I've discovered is because my entire experience of life, this human experience, because I am made in a way that is unique to me, I see the world unique to me. But the world wants us to go into boxes, into molds, because we standardize everything, because, So what I have understood with time is I did not display people pleasing behavior. I was displaying people appeasing behaviors. I was checking all the damn fucking boxes so they leave me the fuck alone to do whatever I wanted. Right?
Of course. Yes. And and this conversation is everything. I remember I had a brilliant coach, and I was saying I'm not good at sales because I don't sell. And she was like, Laetitia, you cannot be a six figures business owner without knowing how to sell. And I was like, but I don't sell. I'm very bad at selling and I don't use any selling process and she was, no, Laetitia, you cannot say that. And after that, I went deep inside and I asked myself, okay, I've got a business, but do do I want to be good at sales? And I kept the focus inside me like you did and wondering, what about my definition? What about me? This is not because I earn six figures that I'm good at sales. I can be very bad at sales and earning six figures. And this is not because people see something about you that you agree with their definition and their box. And it took me almost 1 year. It's very long. It took me almost 1 year to go back to myself and to say, I'm bad at sales, but this is not a problem in my business. And that's okay because I love to create a space where people want to buy because they feel secure, they feel safe with me, they feel fully in their desire and in their power rather than being good at sales. But it took me 1 year to go out of her box. So, you know, this is about this coach, but this is about the world in general,
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
go out of their projection into me and to say, but what about me? What do I think myself about this? And let the answer be the correct one. Because
Let the answer be the correct I just love it. And that's something that you always put on the forefront, like if for somebody that follows you on social media or like any work that you do, you always say, this is my truth, but I want you to listen to my truth through the mirror of your truth, because my truth might not be your truth. But by stepping into my truth, I hope that you're gonna see yours. I hope that you're gonna get clarity into yours. And because and that's where it switched for me, because the people appeasing behavior is heavy. All that genius ticking all the damn freaking boxes can be actually channeled into something so much lighter, so much more joyful, so much more thriving than what we've been doing, up until now. And we carry so much more baggage than we should care for, right? We should, right? And it's not about like I should or I should. It's like, let go of that shit, and you're gonna see how light you feel. And bridging that is something absolutely amazing, because then on the other side of it, you create whatever you want.
of course, and yes, I agree so much with everything. We resonate so much, and this is why it's even difficult when the outside um, tells you, or if you listen to the outside, because this is you listening and people telling you, but people can tell you and you can try not to listen as well, or you can definitely choose to don't listen to the outside. This is difficult because even at home, you have a husband, you have a wife, you have a child, you have some friends, you have some colleagues, partners, etc. And when you share something, they always tell you something, and it's hard to shut the ear and to say,
Mhm.
no, I don't want to listen to that shit. But this is why I think we definitely need to keep our jewel inside, our new projects, our new ideas, to nurture them inside us. And when they are so big, even if you tell the outside and they tell you something back, you don't need to listen, because the vision, the jewel inside you is so big that there is no more questioning about it. But when the little project, the little ideas, the little exciting creativity is just burning a bit inside, you try to connect with other about this subject, and they tell you something and you're like, oh God, maybe I am wrong, because you spend more time listening to the other, so you spend more time outside yourself than inside, you know. And when you take time to nurture inside yourself, you are always right. And this is so joyful, because, like, oh, you not agree with me, that's okay. You don't agree, is it okay? Because I just need to be right with myself at that moment. And this is so liar, like, because you can do anything. And sometimes I say, look, as women especially, we are able to create life without doing anything. Like, you've got a baby in your belly, and then there is a human, but you didn't do anything. Like, you're not on the Tuesday creating the foot, and on Wednesday creating the arms, and you don't
It's
do anything.
yeah, it's like there's not a step 1, 2, 3 to creating the thing. And then what I think is interesting about this very powerful image is that you are doing something, but you are doing something in line with what you were created for, right? As a woman. So it's the same principle in other projects in your life where we think that we need like the 10, 12, 15 step program to get somewhere where, it would be the equivalent of like, okay, so today I'm sitting in front of my computer and I'm creating the two first fingers of my baby, right? And it feels very forced because you're very caught into the doing of things and not into the being. And every single time you're and doing is not the same thing as executing from a place of being, right? Like that's two different, and we can talk about this, but every single time we're stuck in somebody else's blueprint, um that, may or may not work for most people. It's really taking you out of your voice again. So you've connected with yourself, and it's also like they all start with like, what's your why? What's your mission? What's your vision? So you really go into yourself, and then here's the program. And it's like, hold on a second, like what? That defeats the purpose, isn't it?
Yes, this is exactly it, and then, it feels like they have burnt everything down the ground. Well, they didn't. They just sold you a program. But you don't need a program. You are born for this. Everybody is born for everything. And you can choose to have a baby or not. You can choose to have a garden or not. You can choose to have an apartment or a house, whatever. And then when you will have the house, when you will have the dog or the garden, you will figure it out, because you are born to adapt to every situation. But this is very different to say, oh my God, my dream would be to have a house with a big garden and some flowers and some fruit trees. And oh my God, this would be the big success for me. Okay. And you've got everything and you will manage to do it because this is your dream, and you will need some resource, you will need some time, you will need some help maybe, but that's okay because this is a big vision. If I gave you the same thing, the house, the trees, the flowers, and you will think this is so heavy. Like, no, I don't want to do this because there is nothing linked to your vision. And it will be the same. It's the same example of the same house, the same garden, but the difference is you will have a lot of energy to support your own vision, to own idea, your own creativity, but this is called life.
That's
Because
why you talk about being an architect, right? More
yeah,
than a business coach or person, where we
yeah.
come with our vision and you help people. I say we come with our vision. We haven't never worked yet together, but we come with the vision, and then you basically create the space for that vision to come alive within the parameter of who the person is, not within the parameter of what it should look like for, Monsieur, Madame, tout le monde.
Exactly, because sometimes you can buy a house which is this exact same house as the neighbors because it fits well. You don't need something special. You don't have special needs for your family, and that's fine. You just need to have a house, a bed, and a kitchen, and that's fine. But sometimes in life, you have some children with special needs, or you need help to with your own parents, or whatever it is, or you will work from home, so you definitely need a safe space, a quiet space in your home, and their special needs it. And then you're like, oh, this house does not fit anymore my needs. And at that point, you need to optimize the thing or to move and to have a special home made for you. When you don't have special needs, it's fine. But the people we are serving, you and I, are people with special needs. Because maybe life is different from everybody, but maybe when you are 30, 40, 50 years old, you are done with the same house of the neighbor. And you're like, okay, let's speak about it. I don't want a big house. I'm fed up with all the tasks with a big house. I just want a tiny house. Okay, let's build the tiny house. Or you're like, oh no, I'm living in a tiny house for 20 years. I just want space. Okay, let's build the big mansion. That's okay. But this begins
Ouais.
inside us, telling us the truth
Mm.
about where we are at that point. For example, in this example of house, my dream was to have a big garden with fruit trees. So I bought a house here in France, a little house with big garden, fruit trees, apples and pears and everything. So you can have your breakfast in the garden, like in the trees all year long. For me, this was my definition of success. So, oh my goodness, it was so good. And just now, 5 years after, if I am true to me, if I am true to myself, exploring my garden, I'm like, okay, do I still want this? And you spoke about heaviness. Is that feeling light to me, or is that feeling heavy? Even if I chose to be there.
Yeah.
This is me choosing. This is not someone else. But I have changed. My situation has changed. My children are bigger. My work is different. I'm 40. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have to explain the reason why I have changed. And
I
now,
love this.
y-
I love
you know,
this because in Canada, when we have had a house that we had built with a garden and a fruit tree. Like I'm listening to you, and then the fruit trees and the garden boxes. Like we were the talk of our neighborhood. People were coming around and ask, like we were in the garden and they were asking questions, and then at some point we wanted something else, and people just don't understand. It was, well, you had all of this, like why? I'm ready for something else. It's not because it's not a good life. It's not because it's not a successful life. It's not because like I don't love it. It's just because I feel within myself and I'm allowed to want something else. It's not about something more because it's not necessarily more, right? We're talking about lightness here. Maybe I want something less. Maybe I want something more freeing. I just want something different. I'm ready for something different and I'm allowed and it's okay. But
yes,
within our society, that comes with a lot of the word that comes in right now is backlash, which is kind of interesting. And yet, it has been my experience specifically with the selling that and leaving Canada or life that was like super amazing and coming to Germany to build something completely different. Um, it came with a lot of projections. And personally, I did not expect that amount of projection, even if I've been living my life in a different way, even if like I'm not within the lines of what people expect. I've never been. But to be frank, Laetitia, I almost drowned in that. I almost drowned in that.
course.
And the to top this, we came into a country that loves boxes. Like, yay!
What?
And it's like, what have I done? Now, my husband is it made sense that we came here because my husband is German born, but he has moved in Canada when he was 5 years old. He always says I'm as German as maple syrup. So that tells you. And but through all of that, and he's always been somebody that has walked outside of the path or the known path. And even so, at some point, I actually said something where we're trying to manage like all the expectation and everything that was going on here. And all the rules, like that we have to follow in Germany. And I said something to him and he looked at me, he's like, but you can't do that. And I was like, oh my God, they got to him. They got to him. What is going on? Like, so I felt very alone because, you're in a new continent, you're in a new language, you're in a new culture, you're in a new like expectation. Your old community is not necessarily following you or doesn't understand or like or. So that little voice, that little dream, that little gem that is inside, you need to be fierce. You need to
Oh,
be fierce in saying, "Hold on a second, I'm just gonna retreat, not close, just retreat and find people that will hold space for that gift, that gem to flourish."
oh yes, you talk to my heart. And yes, because at this point you're like, oh, even my husband, but it can be even my children, even my wife, whatever the person is, because this is just um, an image of you losing the connection with yourself because of the projections.
Mhm.
And at this point, there is not a lot of things to do. There is what you said, loneliness. Just, I need a bit of 2 hours going into the nature, in the forest, into a lake or whatever you go to, and being alone with no external noise. And this is difficult in our society because we are in deep connection with a lot of people. Then you've got the social media, and then you got the internet. So with your phone, you've got connection everywhere, every seconds, every day. And at some point, you just need to connect back to yourself. And this is so difficult because we are not used to do it. Just this. And I remember 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, before the COVID situation, I had only men as clients. I don't know why. This was not on purpose, but at this time there were not a lot of women in business as well. So this can be an explanation. And they were so connected to everything, like their employees, their partners, their families, their children, their blah, blah, blah. I was dreaming to create a retreat for them, one per one, with just nothing happening. I wanted to call it the void retreat. Them, coming to me and just nothing happening. And my question was, can I sell void? And I don't have the answer still, but I will let you know. And for them to disconnect from everything outside, just to connect back to themselves. And I had the plan very clear, just no phone, no Wi-Fi, no computer, just 2 or 3 days. And this is a lot, 2 or 3 days, just to connect back to their truth.
Yeah.
What is inside me. And even when you moved from Canada to Germany and people saying, oh my God, why do you leave Canada? This is such a beautiful country and blah, 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 blah. Oh, people are so good there. And then, oh, Germany, are you sure? And you're like, I was sure before this conversation.
But it's not even that. It's even like at some point what I have found, it's not because the sheer amount of projection made it so you start to disconnect with the people because you don't I have other things to do than explain myself all the time. And the the thing that people do is that they're not there to listen to what you have to say about, it's not about they want to understand you. I love this. They actually are listening to you to convince themselves that it's not for them. They're not even listening to you. They're not even listening to you. Like they're just like I'm gonna try this on, and that's not even for me. Why would it be for you? It's like I'm not you. Leave me leave me alone. Like leave me
Yes.
alone. So when we are talking about, and this is where I think there's a lot of, this is why I love your work, and this is why I feel so deeply about the way that you do things. It's that a lot of people think that coaching is actually telling people what to do. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. I love your void thing. Do you know that actually there's a trend right now of retreats that are like your void?
Yes.
You were a
Yes.
visionary, right? So
Yes.
the point is that as coaches or as people that hold other people in a space that is free of projections, even ours, even our own way of thinking about things, the most precious thing that we do with our clients, and you don't call your clients because it's human work, right? Like just like me, like we call the ones that come from me that I midwife back to life or towards death. They're the experts.
Yes.
They are the experts in their own
Yes.
life. So your role is to actually help them reveal that away from all the noise, the projections, the blah, 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 even your own. That's why we hire people that are trained for this. because, we can
Exactly.
wake up one day and say, I'm a coach, but at the same time, like, I don't think that a lot of people are understanding this.
Yes. And we have a special thing in non-English countries, because coach is a name in English, and we are using the name in English while we don't speak English. And with each, I think, with each word comes a vibration, some history, some special legends, etc. And in France, for example, or in Spain, because I am half French, half Spanish, and the coach, the thing, the concept was unknown. Like it was not a thing. It was not happening because it didn't exist. And I did my certification in coaching 12 years ago, and it was not a thing. I could not say I did 1 year to study coaching because it was not a thing. And after that, like 2 years after, in Europe, we started to use the word coach for the people in sports teams. The coach who says to the players, the number 7 is doing that, the number 6 is doing this, the number 3 goes there. And of course, if you see the name coach with sports in mind, this is someone telling the player what to do in order for the team to win. And this gave people, at least in Europe, a vision of the coach telling the players what to do, and the coach seeing the gift of the people even before the player was seeing his own gift. So this is a full contrary of a coach. Like this is,
We're using the word coach instead of entraîneur or trainer, right? That's what I'm hearing.
exactly. So, but as it was the English word in Europe, it's better because when
Trendy.
of course, this is a shiny, shiny object. I'm speaking in English, so and they all use the coach. And I've got a daughter, and I listened to her one day. She was speaking with a little friend, and her friend was doing some swimming class. And she said, oh, my swimming class coach is telling me that blah, 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 blah. And my daughter said, this is not your coach if he's telling you something. And the little lady was, oh, yeah, well, whatever, this is my coach. And she said, no, this is your trainer. And this is why for 10 years, I don't use this word coach, because it does not mean the same thing for everybody. So I don't want my clients, my people, to come to me for me to give answers, because they are the experts, as you said. And when I hear you cannot coach someone if you didn't have the same result before, oh my God, let me tell you that this is way easiest to coach someone you have no clue about than to help and coach people who want the same thing as you do. Because obviously you will have to do an inner work about your own projections. While if I coach someone about music, painting, etc., I have no clue about painting, it will be so easy for me, of course, because I wouldn't have any inner work to do. If I've got someone wanting to have the exact same thing as I did, it will be a lot of inner work, a lot of paying people to help me with my inner work in order for me not to project my things into this guy or this lady. So there is a lot of frog in this coaching terminology, and who is doing what? People naming themselves coach while they are consultants,
Mm.
while they are trainers, where they are eaters. And so the coach is a full box of everything. If you don't know what to do, you will tell you are a coach. And as for me, I don't do only coaching, because on some subjects, technical subjects, I am very good. And I won't let my people find their own answer because I know the technical answer. So I won't let them one here find their own solution. But for their truth, this is way different. So if they need a website, I can do the website, and I won't wait 1 year for them to find the correct tool to do the website, because I know myself better than they do. At this stage, I am a consultant. And when they are looking for the truth, I am a coach. And oh my God, this is feeling so liar and so transparent when you can just put the correct labels on what you do, even if you need 55 labels. That's okay.
I mean, we have this wonderful thing that is the language with all these words that we created. Why won't we use them? Why won't we use them when we love labels so much? Which is interesting. Which is
and and
interesting.
and this is very interesting, because we love labels, because it helps us, like it helps me understand you. This is why
Mhm.
labels are created, because in my brain this is so difficult to understand you, that instead of asking question, I'm putting labels everywhere. And okay, so you are correctly organized into my brain. This is it. Like the conversation nowadays is about putting labels on you so I can organize yourself in my brain.
And we
This
do
is
it
so
with
fucking
ourselves, huh? There's a very because when you're doing life transition and like really collapse in your life and really turning points, there's a big piece of identity that is there. There's an exercise that I do with my clients that you most likely do is like, who are you without the labels? Well, I'm a mother that has it. No, 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 no. Mother is a label. This degree is a label. Who are you without the who
Mm,
you without
yes.
those labels, which is a great exercise to do. And it shows us how much we also define ourselves within those labels. So when the labels come off, we don't know who we are, but without we are someone. We are a human being outside of
Yes.
those labels.
Yes. And this is the most interesting part, right? You without the labels. And this is so interesting, because I remember I wanted to do some live stream a few years before. I'm not good with years and times, etc. So it was before. A few years before, I wanted to do some live stream, and I was trying to share the most valuable things in a very short amount of time. And one day, I have very good friend, very delicious, different brains friends. And I told one of my friend, I'm speeding up because I don't have a lot of time. So I need to share this in a very short amount of minutes. And she has autism, so she doesn't understand all these things outside of self. And so this is very good for coaching, you know. And she told me, I don't understand what you say, because you are the one defining the time.
Mm.
And of course, and I was like, Yeah, but
I have shivers. I love this. Can we take a moment there? Can we
yes,
take a moment here? You are the one that defines the time. I have
yes,
shivers and I actually have tears in my eyes because in specific for my work in the context of grief, that little sentence, when that drops in our body, it fucking changes the game.
of
It
course.
really changes the game, whether like in entrepreneurship or anything, but in the context of grief and in the concept of, and we're gonna get into the delicious brain, but in the concept of grief meeting delicious brains, that
Of course. And we need this. Come back to the body. What do you feel inside? You know, what do you feel inside? Is that a relief sensation? Is that a contraction sensation? You know, and in my father-in-law died last year. So my husband is in his grief period. And a lot of people told him, by now you should be better. Like, the- and then he had his grief, and he had the projection to manage of people saying him, like, you decide if you want to take 3 months, 6, 12 years, as
40,
soon as you are
50.
okay. Is there a book of grief telling you in page 12 that you have to do this? And like, there, this is called life. This is called life. And people at the age of intelligence, artificial intelligence, etc., were striving to get back to humanity and to human connection. So we need example of people taking their time. And maybe for you, taking your time, it's 3 minutes. And for someone else, taking his time is 3 years. Oh, at the end, we will be dead. So,
You define
what's wrong
time.
with that?
We all have
And
our own time, yes. So your friend who's autistic, she said that to you, and that actually dropped in your body within the context of what you were trying to do, right?
yes, I decided to listen to that. And the day after, I said, you know what? I will talk the time I need to put the context, because I can't, Laetitia, at that moment, I'm not able to share something without explaining the context. I, I don't know. I don't know. I can't do without the context. So if I am sharing how I did 6 figures a year, I need, because for me, this is transparency. I need to explain people that, yes, I've got 6 figures years, of course, but I am in business for 12 years. Of course. Okay, I do homeschooling, but I've got a delicious different brain daughter. She doesn't need to learn. She learns by herself. She doesn't need mommy to learn. She doesn't need me. I'm just the tutor, the coach, but I'm not, she's learning by her way. So I need to put that into the context, because if there is a different mom listening to that with a child with special needs, who need a lot of presence, a lot of learning, a lot of books, a lot of reinsurance. Okay, if you change the context, you change the result.
Yep.
And we have whole different contexts.
Mhm.
So I needed that. So I did some beautiful live streams during 6 months, just for me to know the time I needed. And before, I took notes, like in my paper, saying, oh, if I speak all I want. Like I could stay the afternoon on the call. And I say, okay, I've got the afternoon, so I will do it. I will try it. And I've got 2 years of experience doing videos. I have not shared something more than 45 minutes. So I was squeezing myself into a 20-minute thing, while in reality, I needed 10 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes more. What is 20 minutes in your life? Like in the whole life? This is crazy. And I was squeezing myself. Like, no, this cannot happen. It is a forbidden place. Don't do that.
No entrance. But
No
I
entrance.
just love because we're taught to, the elevator pitch or the one liner or the impact, whatever. And yes, it's good for a hook, but it doesn't speak from human to human. It like we have so much more texture than that. We have so much more, and I find, and I have done that. I have done what you're saying, the trap of trying to squeeze, because we all don't have time, but like the vibration, the way that we actually speak, the the intentionality of the whole thing, you might as well not do it, because the intentionality of the whole thing is skewed. And you're creating lives to connect with your people, but they're not connecting because you're rushed, because you're not providing. And I love that you're talking about context and not just content, because there's a context to everything. So yeah, I just love what you just said. And let's get into the delicious brains, because I did not know I had a delicious brain until very late in my life, and I'm almost gonna say recently, but I too, my my husband sometimes I'm like, like that thing the other day. He's like, the other day? That was like 6 months ago. That was last year. I was like, yeah, it was the other day. Ungefähr, ungefähr.
I've got you.
Every single time it's like, "What are you talking about? That was, like, so long ago." And I was like, "Yeah, but it was the other day," you know? And my concept of time, and I talk about this as well in my containers, where, time the relativity of time is very different, and it's very different specifically for delicious brain. So what's a delicious brain?
Well,
It's
I
it's it's
was,
very zombie-like. Mm.
I had some beautiful clients at the very beginning of my entrepreneurship journey, because for me, entrepreneurship, for me, this is not about having a business, but this is um, the meeting with myself. Some people are doing it with spirituality or with God, with their own children or whatever. And for me, this is thanks to entrepreneurship. So this is for me like, I don't know the name in English, pèlerinage. Um,
Pilgrimage.
yeah, for me,
Pilgrimage.
entrepreneurship,
Mm.
this is the way I live it. And this is a pilgrimage. And you, each day, you do a part of your pilgrimage to meet yourself. At the end, you won't meet anybody else than yourself. And each day you meet yourself without any mask, without any illusion. Because if you have mask or illusion, when you are entrepreneur, they came back right to you. And they say, hello, I am the mask.
Like this boomerang, you know?
Oh my God. So just for the context, entrepreneurship for me is not about doing business or earning money, etc. This is meeting myself. And I am paid to meet myself, which is like a God given experience, of course, because this is very good for my soul. And I remember having one client, and he told me, I don't know what's happening between you and me. I just need to speak and you understand. And I was saying, yes, but this happens with you, but it doesn't happen with everybody. And I worked with that client for 8 years. And if you had asked me what is your ideal client, like in the 12-step program, who is your ideal client? I would have answered this client. Not because of anything than when we are speaking, we understand each other's. And we tried for 6 months with this client to understand why we were like this together. And we tried to explain the thing, but we didn't have any results on that search. Then we had our children. He had 4, I had 1. And we understood something was a bit different with our children compared to the other children. So we're like, oh my God, we are fucked. We are fucked. Because we are so like strange people. We don't fit. And then we had this conversation when we said we don't want not to fit. There is something with ourselves which is different, but what it is, we didn't know. And after these 6 months of search between Jean-Marie and I had 2 clients entering my space. They were the exact same kind of people. And I said, I found the others, like a secret society. Like, and I remember saying, I found the others.
Like there was only other 2 in the
Yes.
whole world.
We were 4. And, total 4 people. Like my client and I and these 2 new clients, we were 4 in the world, entire humanity. And at this stage, I was like, okay. And I had other clients at this stage, but it was a good fit to work with, but not this kind of connection where when you speak, like you don't have to explain yourself. And I decided to learn more from them, from me, from our relationships. And I found that we were not only 4. There were plenty of other people like us. But these people, as I work for people in general more than 40 years old or 35 years old with a bit of life experience, they were not diagnosed when they were young about being gifted or ADHD or autism or whatever. There were not labels at that time for our generation. It was very good because we had to fit into the life, we had to fit and that's it. Now, the children, they are diagnosed. We put labels, 2 or 3 more labels, even if they are 6 years old, and they will live with a label all their life. So I don't know what is the correct solution, but at least my clients, they didn't have any labels and they spent their entire life trying to fit. So I could not speak to them with one more label because they were declining all the labels because they, for one time in their life at 40 years old, 50 years old, they wanted to be recognized as themselves. So in my communication, I wanted to call the others, but I couldn't be because they didn't want some label. So I was like, oh my God, what is the solution? How can I call the others without any labels? Mm-hmm. And I had to explain that they have a different brain. And someone told me, oh, yeah, but if you're autistic, this is very difficult in your life. And I was like, no, if you're an entrepreneur, like this is a very big gift. And, I was like, this is so delicious. And here we are. And I call them the delicious different
Just
brains.
different brains.
Yeah, exactly. And to make it sound the way I see these gifts of being so delicious when you are an entrepreneur. But it is okay when you are a manager, when you are a mother or father, whatever. But being okay with the fact that your brain is different, and that's a gift.
Yes, because we have been for so long trying to fit it. That was the people appeasing piece that I was speaking to at the beginning of this conversation, where we finally understand that we don't need to appease anymore. That and it's always this, like, once you find your community, your belonging, we all want to belong. That's. But when we find people that, and I mostly through the podcast, I've realized more and more of this, because some of my guests, they were coming, and I could see and I could feel the ones that were like, you were exactly what you're describing. And it was happening more and more because I was speaking more and more in this way with clients or expert or with podcaster, but I didn't know what it was until I had the episode with Rabia Subani, which is a beautiful episode. And I was like, and we had a conversation outside of a podcast together that was longer than the podcast episode on this. And this for me changed the game, because I was like, oh, hold on a second. First, there's innate and acquired neurodiversity. It's really the brain structure that is different. And that is a darn gift, because you see the world in a different way. Hence, you filter the world in a different way. You create through that filter in a different way. Now, in the context of grief, it actually also changed the game, because if we don't see grief the same way as other people, if we don't experience time the way that other people experience, then it becomes very difficult, because we think that there's something wrong with us when there's nothing wrong with us at all. Not at all, right?
Not at
And
all.
whether it's innate or acquired, and sometimes, it's both. In my case, I know that I have both. Because depression, anxiety, and everything, like, changes the brain, but what is linked to like the innate condition or not. But also grief really makes it, and that's why everything, like the whole house of cards, like, went down when we moved to Germany, because it wasn't just navigating at the edge of disappearing paths like I talk about. It's not just like I'm in a new context. It's also that I'm grieving things that most people don't, in a very different way, in a language that we don't have we have not learned to. The language of grief, we have not learned to. Plus, we have not learned to speak with our own different brains. So I and as I was preparing our conversation, I just thought it was amazing, because when we connected 2 years ago, that was your beginning of your understanding of this, which was also my beginning of this understanding. And I am so grateful that we're having this conversation, because it's not about, and I was talking to my husband this morning, there's this, I'm not on LinkedIn. I actually stopped being on LinkedIn for a little bit, but he's on LinkedIn, and he's like, I just can't stand those, like, you're a visionary. You're a visionary. It's like, there's the identity of the visionary. Okay. But like the delicious different brains, they're not visionaries. they're
No,
they're not like, see, like, they're actually filtering the world in a whole different way, that it's their way of being. It's not a label. It's not an identity. It's
but
it's who they are.
exactly. But as we are using all the same wording, This is so difficult because when I say, or you say visionary, this is so different from a typical brain saying visionary.
Mhm.
For example, when I'm doing some live stream, people are saying, but this is a masterclass. Or this is a pet program. I don't fucking care. I'm just doing my things because it feels good to me. And if I need 10 minutes to put context for people to understand my point, I will spend 10 minutes. But I I'm doing this now after this entire journey of meeting myself or avoiding myself or being afraid of being myself or everything. I did all the steps. So now I'm trying to help my client shortcut this all these steps of not being true to ourselves and trying to fit in a box because they love, for example, long content. They enjoy long content because obviously when there is long content, you've got context. But as we use the same word,
Oh,
this is
like the
this is
coaching
so
thing?
difficult. Yes. And on LinkedIn, this is a very good example because sometimes I'm going there, um, and I see some posts of people saying they did some revolutionary stuff, and I'm like, you know what? Even myself, alone as a solopreneur, I did this 12 years ago. What on earth are you innovating there? I know even one person. This is me. So if I did this 10 years ago, like million of people are doing this already. And you're like telling myself that you're innovating something, like there is no innovation there. And but we have only one word saying innovation. And now I'm gaining confidence and I can say during my live stream, okay, so if you think this and this and this, please don't stay because you are not my people. And I do it like this, like just like this, like please don't stay because you will lose some time because this is not for my people, you know? And because I did all the steps, and this is like your moving experience, it was not a moving experience.
Mm-mm.
You moved, yes, but it was not a moving experience. And we are moving from France to Spain. We are going to Ibiza in a few weeks and we are moving to Ibiza. But like I worked 10 years abroad. So moving is not our difficulty there. There is no difficulty in moving because for us, we have difficulty in staying, you know? So this is, but if you don't have a delicious different brain listening to you or um, having the conversation with you, you have parallels conversation. You in your lane and the other in their lane, and you are never meeting yourself at any point because you are not living in the same dimension. You are not in the same reality, and that's fully okay. That's okay. But the message won't land.
It won't land, and if it lands, and has been also my experience. Oh my god. Because we are taught to, and I've done this in all my businesses. Like when I was teaching scuba diving, when we had a scuba diving shop, like when I was like all the times before. And this is where the delicious different brains need another framework to work. with her thing, because, and that's why those damn 50 steps thing don't, because then it you learn to speak to that other lane. And that other lane that actually doesn't move with change and wants to root and grip so much. And you're saying, well, why are you gripping? We need to flow. Life changes. And they're like, so what happens is when you build businesses and then you decide, oh, well, it's all nice and dandy, this house that I have with those fruit trees and whatever, it's time for the next thing. If you've built your community, that was the heartbreaking thing for me. When you build your community, then you have a whole bunch of people that feel abandoned
Of course.
because you are not speaking the language of we're evolving together, we're moving together, we're creating together, but in our own lane, and we're speaking to each other.
Yes.
I wish somebody would have taught me this before.
Look, it happens now.
Of course, of course, and I'm, but it's like, if you're listening to this and you're like, there's so many things that are, so many light bulbs that are, like listeners and viewers, because this is also on YouTube, reach out, because the way that you're feeling, there's more than 4 or 5 of us.
Yes, more, way more. Yes, and but at the beginning, uh, I always say this sentence of, speaking about community, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, but I have built everything with my business, my work, my career, my friends, my." But if you stay true to others, you don't stay true to yourself. At the end of the day, you are with yourself every day for a very long period of time. So, do you want to be polite with yourself? Do you want to respect yourself? Even if it's not about being difficult, because being true to ourselves is very easy in reality. But it takes some conversations. And conversation, as we can speak, they are easy to do in reality. But this is transferring from your inner world what you feel like the truth, and to put it with your words externally. So this is from the inside to the outside. And you've got a mouth. So you can say the words, and you will feel a bit of discomfort for at least 1 second, 2, 3 minutes, and 3 minutes, like, to respect yourself. Well, this is a good investment of time. 3 minutes in your life.
Not so bad in
Just,
the end.
this is not about, like, if you have health issue, you need to affect 1 year, 2 years of your life to get fit, but the truth is something so quick. But it takes not courage, not even faith, not just, it takes the words to go out from inside to outside. And sometimes you need a bit of time to nurture the gift inside you in order for it to be so big that the projection won't eat you. So you don't have to protect yourself from the other, but you have to have a truth so big that even if you have projection, the monster is so big that it can live on its own. And you have to feed the monster. Like, you have to feed the dream, like a lot. And the conversation to have in general, in my experience with my life and my clients' life, they are in reality very useful to find your people, maybe to change the entire friends or relationships you have because maybe they are outdated. And that's okay.
Mhm.
That's okay. Because at the end of the day, we need to be true to ourselves because it is affecting your health, body health, your mental health, your spiritual health. Like everything is affected. And at the end of the day, we will die alone. No. So
My mom
we,
always said that. We come in alone and we go alone. Anything in between, we should, carefully choose who we're walking with, right?
exactly. And you know, sometimes my client, when they are lost, they tell me, oh my God, this decision is so difficult to take. Oh no. It, and I always ask one question. Would your inner child at 7 years old would be proud to take this decision? Yes or no? This is a no. You say no. And then if the child, your inner child, say yes, ask the following question. Would be my 80 years old version of me proud to take this decision? Yes or no? And if at 80 years old, seeing this decision in the past, I would say, oh, this was a very bad decision. Don't take that decision. This is a no. So you just have a two-step question to ask. Would I be proud as a child and with as a grandma? And that's it. If there is a no, you don't take that decision. This is a full no. That's it. Easy. One like 20
It's
seconds decision.
I love this, and there's so many. I didn't know that you did that, but those are the two questions that I always ask myself, and
Yes.
I've been asking myself since my mom passed away, and I know what it is to die at 51 years old with a life unlived from up close and personal, right? So, it really changed my way of seeing, like, in the future, will I regret not taking this step or not? Like, and the child thing is always like, before I got suffocated by all this society's boxes, what decision would I take? And I just love those two because it's simple. It's really simple. Those two questions are it.
Y-
It. Thank you
Yes.
so much for that.
Of course. And you know, I think like we say that the normal should be health, for example, or we say the normal should be taking care of ourselves. And I think the normal should be being joyful. We were born for this. So just take the decision and do the things that brings joy in your life. And even if it's something small, and even if is having apple trees in your garden, like put this apple tree in your fucking garden and eat your apples. And if for yourself is having a dog or do trekkings or whatever, in reality, whatever it is, just in the lens of joy and asking yourself, is that light for me? Yes or no? Is that joyful? Yes or no? And here we are.
Here we are. Here we are. And it's I have a friend of mine that she always says that quote. And I don't know if it's her quote, if it's a quote that but I just love this quote. And it says, and it is happy. We're talking about time as well. So happiness is the time you dedicate to your joy. So it's happiness is the compounded effect of your joy, of cultivating that joy, of connecting with that joy, and letting that inner child speak while you're also like making that grandfather version of yourself or that grandmother version of yourself, which is it's simple. It
Yes.
strips a lot of the, less is more, and I like that we didn't go into that, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna come back on the podcast, but like we we have been we have been like trying to manage the noise when in reality we need to go back to the void.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why, sometimes, and I always say that to my friends or clients, just shut the social media down, just for 1 week, for 2 days, like, take your smartphone and put it in the garden or in the garage or whatever, in a box, in a locker, and just to go back to yourself, because I really think, you know,
You know?
I'm sure that everybody knows. And when you ask yourself, if I knew, what would I do? You know, but sometimes you prevent yourself to knowing because your truth is a bit big, or is a bit confronting compared to the current situation, But in reality,
You know?
we all know. And thanks God there is people like you, like, putting back people in their lane, especially with grief, which is a very sensitive subject. And grief is also part of life, like everything else, because you could help people with parentality or business or music, you would do the same at the end of the day. We we each have our door to help the humanity. Yours is about grief, but it applies to everything.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And my own journey of personal and with my clients brought me to this, to the fact that everything that holds us back, or everything that manifests itself in our bodies, has to do with those decisions that we didn't take because we were afraid of processing the grief, because we were trying to avoid the grief or the losses or all of that. And at the end of the day, it's simple and yet it's very foreign. That's why people think that it's difficult. It's not necessarily difficult, it's challenging because we need to work in another way that we have been taught to. So,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah, that's the
yes.
thing.
That's the
So
thing. This
right
is
now,
new,
you are
new
on a mission. Oh, sorry. It
yeah.
You're
What
on a
you said.
mission right now.
Yeah, this is just a new competency to have.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
but you can do it.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So the mission that you're on right now is pretty big. It's like mission accepted. And so what's the mission? Can we close on this? Because that I would love, that's what I'm saying. I just love like how we show up, we share, we accept the missions, we walk the path, and then we circle back to like, hey, what, because that is something that is very signature with you. You are just as much inspired by the people that you walk with than you show up and share with them what your path is, where you're at, what's going on in your delicious brain.
Yes, and this is why I don't resonate with the word client, because with clients this is like me serving them, which is true, but we have a very big missing part of them nourishing my life a lot. And as I am on my path, but they are on their own path. They are not taking mine. I'm not in front of anybody else. I am in my path and they are in theirs. And they are nourishing myself a lot, because now I can see proofs that we are not only 4 or 5. So, and when you say client, this is you delivering something, you doing something, but the missing part is, what about them nourishing yourself so much? So this is why I say friends, because this is the definition of friendship. Like, I nourish you, you nourish me, and This is called friendship. So there is a name for that. So I use the correct word. And one day, there, a partner of mine told me she's taking very beautiful photographics in France, and she's doing photo shoots, etc. And she's an artist. And I decided years ago to do all my photo shoots with her, because she's a delicious different brain with a camera. So you have a delicious different brain with coaching, like you have delicious different brain with a brush, and she's a delicious different brain with a camera, and she can see through you, like all the delicious different brains. And we did some picture, and she was trying to do something technical in the camera, and we were talking, and she said, you should be more famous than you are. It was in the conversation, just a sentence like this, and it hit me hard. I was like, yeah, I'm trying, you know? And I was like, are you fucking trying, or are you doing it? These are two different conversations. And I was trying. And this day, it was a very beautiful sentence, because the question was not about her projecting on myself that I should be famous, but me going inside me, like I said before, and say, do I want to be famous? No, no, I don't want to be famous. I want to go and buy my bread in like everybody else. I don't want to be famous, because I don't think I really exist. I exist because you make me exist, but I don't want to be famous. But I want this message to land. This is very different. My mission is not to be famous. My mission is my message to land 100K lives in 3 months. And this part, I can do it. I'm fully responsible for it. You cannot say, my goal is to do 100K euros or dollars or whatever in 1 year, 6 months, or 10 years. No, because you need some people to pay you. So this is not a goal. You can say, okay, I will do my best in order to show up every day, but maybe showing up will not bring money in. I don't know. So I always put myself into goals I am the only one responsible for. And to impact 100K life in 3 months, I can do it. I just need to come and speak to people every single days on every platforms. And we are gifted because we are a generation with internet. Because, maybe within 20 years, we will have only bots and AI on internet, and internet will be dead in 10 years. I don't really know. So this is now. I just have a little window, boom. And
There are
my
tools that are available to us. Yes. Yes.
yes,
At the moment.
yes. Yes, and so my goal is to speak, to deliver this message of being true to ourselves, and to do what needs to be done in order to never disconnect from our own truths. Because I think every answer is here.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh Laetitia, my heart is full right now, like truly, truly full. I am very grateful that you came and have the conversation with me. I am so grateful to when I witnessed those paths that were navigating, that were connecting, that were staying like, yeah, I just love, love, love this. And I find that our brains, our delicious different brains also have a long memory because of that suffers the time glitches, and, and also because we connect in a very meaningful way. We connect from our heart. We connect from our authentic place that that actually shows up throughout times, throughout spaces, throughout everything. So thank you so much for this. I love that you're putting goals that you're only responsible yourself for, and that is a very great way to re-empower ourselves in this life that we're living, in the journey, and whatever the house that we're building. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I wanted to thank you because I'm very bad at interviewing people. So I can see in yourself this talent, this gift that you have. And as I don't own this gift, I can see it so clearly in yourself. So thank you because I felt so seen, so seen. And I really I really know that people need to be seen a lot, and you have this gift inside you, outside you with your clients. So please use it more for our humanity to feel seen, because this is a feeling like this is you cannot compare the feeling seen to anything else. So thank you for seeing me.
Well, thank you for this. Thank you for allowing me to see you as well. I love you. Listeners, thank you so much. Share this conversation, if you know a delicious different brain, if you are impacted by the conversation, the goal nuggets that we shared here in our own experiences, and the people that we um, have developed friendships with. And also go check out, I'm gonna link all the links, social media, website, so you can actually follow Laetitia's work, get on our newsletter and whatnot, and I will talk to you very soon. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you.